turned around, I was like, what the hell? Like, just the most amazing ass. Her and Tyra Banks. Tyra Banks has the most gorgeous ass in the creation of the history of God.
We should just have like a lineup of
an
stars.
Ass off.
Have you rank all the asses.
We should have an ass off. That would be a hilarious thing for the Daily Beast, wouldn't it? An ass off.
Hello, I'm Kevin Fallon, and this is Obsessed, the podcast, where I act as your entertainment Sherpa through all the TV shows, movies, and entertainment news that we think is unmissable. Today, your entertainment Sherpa is a little sleepy because he is awake all night covering the Golden Globes for his Substack, obsessed.substack.com. Subscribe. And today, we're very excited because we have a huge guest. He is a fashion legend, a design mogul, an industry hero in just about every field. He's a TV host, a personality, a designer. He has done just about everything and knows just about everyone. I'm talking about Isaac Mizrahi. We're going to talk about the best and worst dress at the Golden Globes. We're going to talk about his hilarious scene-stealing role in Marty Supreme, where he has the funniest line, and maybe the raunchiest line. And we're going to talk about all of his dish from his years working with the hottest celebrities, including which one he thinks has the best ass. And without further ado, here is the icon, the legend, Isaac Mizrahi. Hello, Isaac.
I am not all of those things.
You are all those things and more.
Legendary? That's so exciting.
I mean,
I love being legendary.
To me and everyone I know, if that means something, yes.
This means a lot, Kevin, a lot. So the Globes.
The Globes were last night.
I know. And I'm so happy about what transpired, at least for Timothée Chalamet, only because of my association with Marty Supreme. We were robbed,
yes.
Okay? I'm just saying, we were robbed as a franchise, but Timmy won, so go on.
For those who don't know, Isaac is in Marty Supreme. You have what I think is the funniest line of the movie. I was on the floor laughing.
Thank you.
What was that experience like? You were with Timmy, you were with Gwyneth Paltrow?
Yeah. I mean, I know Gwyneth for many years. I don't know Timothée, and we met on set, and it was incredibly wonderful. He was such a mensch, you know. He engaged with me, and he hugged me, and it was like, wow, he's being hugged by... Now I know what Kylie Jenner feels like, or something. Some of what Kylie Jenner feels like. But anyway, so it was just incredible to meet him and be working with him and be so kind of, I don't know what, not reviled by him. Do you know what I mean? Like, he wasn't repulsed by me.
Yes,
he was
you're liked by the coolest person in Hollywood.
Right, I was liked and hugged by the coolest person on the planet, who gets cooler and cooler by the second, right?
And people have such polarized and extreme opinions about him because when you become the it boy of the moment, people suddenly... Right. They have extreme thoughts about you. And people sometimes think that he is trying too hard or he's full of himself. But also people think that he's, like I said, the coolest guy in the room. What was your impression? My impression is that he is the coolest person in the world. And also the most, I don't know what, charming person. There are a lot of movie stars out there. And there are a lot of incredible actors out there, and there are a lot of both actors and movie stars, which is what I think Timmy is. I think he's a great actor and a great movie star. But there's also just an intense charm, like the camera photographs him in any way, like whether it's a moving image or just a still image of him. And for me, I don't know, maybe I'm just talking about my experience. I look at it and I just smile. He always makes me smile, you know? Yeah. And it's fascinating to me because I grew up when the male movie star ideal was someone who was beefy and action hero-y and had a chiseled jaw and all those things. And he's not that. And I find that fascinating that he's this new sex symbol but has a very different type than we're used to.
But except speaking of which, I remember when Leo DiCaprio was in Who's Eating Gilbert Grape. This was a million years ago.
Such a good movie.
I know, and he wasn't beefy. He was very kind of, not exactly as elfin as Timmy or something, but he was not this big old brawny guy, He was very boyish. Let's put it that way. They're both boyish, right? And so I feel like there's a whole category of when I just said category when I shouldn't be like I'm Joanna Coles or something. There's a whole category of of American movies, male movie stars that are like start as like little imps, you know,
Yes.
and they grow into their kind of
Right.
maleness or something, you know.
That's actually a great comparison. I hadn't thought of Timothée as being the next Leo, but I think that's actually a really good
I mean, it works.
trajectory.
It works. It does work. I mean, like, I feel like Leo DiCaprio had that like chiseled blonde kind of, you know, those incredible kind of looks, Brad Pitt, etc. Right? Whereas Timmy is outside the realm of all that. You know, he's just gorgeous because he's gorgeous. You know. And by the way, one really hilarious thing was when I got on the set and saw the skin. Right? You know, the skin
yes.
that they gave him this kind of like pocked, like little scarred skin. Right? And I was like, this could be his downfall. Like maybe this is right.
How do you have such bad skin?
How do you have such bad skin? And apparently there was a story on someone's podcast, like maybe even Gwyneth.
It was Gwyneth who told the story, yes.
She was like, oh, I know a really good microdermabrasion. It's like, really, Gwyneth? Like, but she thought she was helping him, you know?
No, she had the same reaction as you. She's like, oh my God, I'm with this movie star. Why does his face look like this?
Right? Like who didn't look into this? I guess movie stars can look like anything these days. Yeah.
You must have known Gwyneth for a long time.
I have known her for so long, yes.
When did you first meet her?
Probably in the 90s. You know, she was like a fresh, incredible young person. And she used to wear my clothes occasionally. And then one especially famous picture of her on, I think it was either the cover of W or like the first picture of W. It was like a spring preview of collections from, I would say it would be like 1998 or something like that, or 1999, because it was just when I was closing my company. It was one of the last pictures of my couture clothes, you know, if you want to call them couture, right?
Of course.
Yeah, but it was one of the last pictures. It was this kind of strapless, it's really good, like sort of gingham A-line dress with like a white petticoat, so chic. To the sort of T length. It wasn't full length. Anyway, and she's so beautiful. And I used to say to people, like, she has the best ass in Hollywood. At some point, she was gifted with this incredible. I don't know what it looks like now. I'm sure it's amazing.
I'm sure it's the same.
Yeah, I'm sure
she does not age.
It.
Yeah,
she does not age. But she in fact at that point, I remember I was at Joe Allen one night and she was there in a suit. It was not my suit. It was a tight navy blue suit. And she turned around. I was like, what the hell? Like. Just the most amazing ass. Her and Tyra Banks. Tyra Banks has the most gorgeous ass in the creation of the history of God, you know, but...
We should just have like a lineup of
an
stars.
Ass off.
Have you rank all the asses.
We should have an ass off. That would be a hilarious thing for the Daily Beast, wouldn't it? An ass off.
Next time you come on, we're just.
By the way, that's someone's last name, so you know, ass off. But go on.
we're gonna have an ass off competition next time.
Right, exactly. I love that. Oh, I'm so excited.
But I love hearing about Gwyneth because in my mind, she is just like the chicest, coolest celebrity.
You are right.
She doesn't give an F about anything, and she's so candid. And then when she decides to go back on screen after all these years off, she is brilliant again.
And nails it and gets the perfect part, right?
Yeah.
Like she will not settle until the right part comes, and then it's this.
She's like,
by the
I'm going
way,
to come back only if I get to be eaten out by Timothée Chalamet in Central Park.
Boom, in Central Park. By the way, and yes, of course, and not even care, like she doesn't even care about it. By the way, the other thing about her is that she appeared on, I think it was like Seth Meyers. Is it
yes.
Is he a plural?
He's a plural, yes.
Okay. He identifies as a plural. But anyway, so Seth Meyers, she appeared on that show in a tracksuit. I mean, how chic is that? Yeah. I think Elizabeth Saltzman is her stylist. We need to shout out for Elizabeth because that is a great idea. She was wearing it with these gold earrings I didn't like. That earrings made it a little not so cute, but the idea to wear a tracksuit on Seth Meyers, amazing, right?
And she manages to make like the most mundane things about her life seem like extremely chic.
Yeah.
I just watched her on the Amy Poehler podcast, and she talked about how she likes going to dinner at 5:45 p.m. And it was as if like the most bombshell revelation had happened. It was that brilliant.
And also...
And she was just talking about eating dinner.
And by the way, and she does not assume that everyone goes, oh, how what an old lady she is to go to dinner at 5:45. Because I am like ashamed to tell people that I like to dine at 5:45, by the way. You know, it's like, oh, can we meet early? How's 6? Or what about 5:45? I'm not kidding. It's like, and you know, you just can see the person going, wow, really, Grandma? You know, but... Okay, so
that's why she's so brilliant, because she said it, and now here we are talking about how great it is.
Totally.
Dinner at 5:45.
Yes. Well, we are going to form a We Love Gwyneth Paltrow club, I think, by the end of this. But
yeah. How did you become involved in Marty Supreme? I want to reiterate, you have the funniest line in the movie. It is so dirty and so shocking.
And what's funny is, because when you take a part like this, you don't really get to read the whole movie. You get the scenes, maybe, if you're lucky. Like the day of the shooting, you agree to do it because it's Josh and Ron, and they're amazing, and Jen Venditti, who's amazing, right? And so you agree to do it, and then you show up and you get your sides. Or maybe they give them to you a few days in advance so you can memorize them, right? And that line, as I remember, was not on the page when I got the sides. And then I got to the set, and we shot it something a few times. And then they came back and like, no, we came up with a really much better line. And they gave it to me, right? And we shot, and we did it like 16 times because Josh is very painstaking about shooting everything. And I kept having to do it with that big laugh, this big laugh. And for someone at my advancing age, sort of, it's like, it's a lot to do. It's a lot, anyway. So what's funny is I thought they just came up with it, And so I said that in one of the interviews. I said, well, they just came up with this line, and they gave it to me. And I thought, oh, this is getting cut because it's so non sequitur and ridiculous. And what has this got to do with the rest of the movie? And I'm talking about getting a blowjob, right? And so I thought, this is getting cut. I called my agent, and I was like, by the way, I'm glad I just spent 4 days, right? Because this is getting cut. And she was like, oh, really? And she believed me, and I believed I believed it, And then, of course, it didn't get cut. And I heard from Jen, and then I heard from Josh, and then I heard from my friend Kristen that it was really great. It actually got a big laugh.
People, when I saw my screening, they clapped for it.
But wait a minute. But then Josh texted me, darling, we did not come up with this. We literally sat there for 2 hours, like crafting the line. I was like, okay, all right, relax, relax. I get it, Writing is hard. Writing is very, very hard.
Well, don't I know it?
But wait a minute. Speaking of getting things wrong, I met Josh when he was like very young, but I thought he was like a little boy. Because here's the thing, I live upstairs from Myra Kalman, the fabulous artist, and her son Alex Kalman lived there, of course, with his mom and Lulu Kalman, and they all lived together. And they used to have like seders and parties and dinners, and I was always in that apartment, and they were always upstairs, so it was like an upstairs, downstairs kind of like Rhoda Mary thing, right? And so like I just imagined that he was like 9 years old because I knew a lot of 9-year-olds, when they were 9 and 7 and little kids, I used to know all these little kids, so I just assumed he was really young. So I made the speech at the Critics Circle dinner. I gave them the award.
New York Film Critics Circle.
New York Circle, yes. And I said, well, he was 9 when I met him. And then we worked together. I kind of commissioned them to make these films when I was at Liz Claiborne, and they made these incredible films, him and Alex and Benny, right? And so I get this text like, darling, I was 17 when you met me, and I thought to myself, oh God, I get everything wrong, But and then I texted him back like, I don't know why, but I just pictured you as like this 9-year-old with a beard, like this little boy with a beard.
Many 9-year-olds have.
Like many 9-year-olds. Yeah, but Josh, I feel like he was born with that beard, Yeah.
I mean, it is his identity is that look.
I think so.
Yeah.
It's his brand by this point.
Pretty much.
Yeah.
But speaking of looks, like we said, last night was Golden Globes.
Yeah.
I would be remiss if I did not ask you about some of the fashion. So I pulled some of the dresses from some of the celebs, and I want us to talk about them.
Okay.
First one, I have a lot of thoughts about is Jennifer Lawrence in this sheer floral garden-esque kind of gown.
Except she is the most genius. I love this. I adore this. First of all, I love the styling. I don't know who styled it, but I love that her hair and makeup is kind of just like that. Mm-hmm. It's not all beat up, She looks just kind of natural. And then that ridiculous, insane, fabulous, and very, very sexy dress. I think, you know what? Like, do it while you can, Jen. Do it while you can,
Well, that's
J-Lo.
interesting. I don't think I've ever seen her in something quite so revealing. And this is extremely revealing.
It's extremely revealing, but also, like, again, you know, like, speaking of Timmy and being so charming, I think she's one of those people too, you know? Like, she has a kind of like a humor about her and a charm. It's almost like she can't be, like, she can't do anything. That's why she's such a good actor, because she has that basis in humor, you know? And so, like, the humor adds, like, the levity of who this person is adds to the kind of, like, air quotes of the sexual politics. You know, she's not, like, flaunting. She's kind of checking it out. She's, oh, really? Oh, is it sheer? You know what I mean? It's like, that's what, right. Oh, is it really sheer? I mean, that's what she looks like to me. It doesn't look like she's trying to be, like, quote unquote, sexy. That to me looks great.
She's someone who I think, like, she realized that right now my body looks amazing.
Exactly.
So I'm going to do this and show everyone how good I look.
And also, what I adore about it is it's not like an Ozempic moment. It's not like too skinny. Because a lot of people are they've gotten a lot of that Hollywood Ozempic thing.
That 90s, like
no good.
Skeletal look is so bad right now.
Everybody, like, even people like that I know are really smart and I adore, and I understand it. I really do. I do get it. Like, if you have the opportunity to do this, of course you're going to do it. But I don't think it looks that good. Of course, on Timmy, it's all natural. Like, he doesn't try. It just, that's who he is.
Yeah.
You know?
I just don't like it when it comes to the point that when you see a person on a red carpet, you wonder if they're ill.
I know, exactly.
Which is happening more and more often right now with some of these actresses.
Well, and then of course I go, but it's such a like a mean girl thing. If someone finally loses all that weight, to go, oh, they look ill. You know, that whole.
But it reminds me of like the Lara Flynn Boyle, Ally McBeal kind of phenomenon of the 90s that I was happy we moved away from, but now it seems like it's going back there.
Yeah. I don't like it. And I have to tell you, like, one of my best friends, he's not on Ozempic, but he is so skinny, and he's gay, of course, and the whole gay kind of pressure to be extremely thin, I guess it's wearing on him, because he starts as this person, if you knew him, he's really thin to begin with, and then he's like, he does these things where he doesn't eat any bread or carbs, or he doesn't drink for a month. I forgot what he calls it. Something
intermittent fasting.
No. It's like got a name, like something. There's a number in it. It's alphanumeric. If you were Ken Jennings, it's alphanumeric. But anyway, so it's like something 80, whole something 80.
Whole 30.
Whole 30.
Yes.
Okay, thank you. Whole 30. I was giving it 80, but let's give it 30.
Yeah, it's like 30 days of
30 days
eating.
of just completely. Yes. And I'm thinking, this
being
is
the
a
person
young
where
person.
you have to pack your own food to bring to a party because you can't eat food at that party.
And we go to dinner, and I'm like, "What? Who are you? What are you? Why are you eating this? You know, because he's so thin. You know what I mean? So I don't know. I'm not into it. I'm not into the thin thing.
Well, let's move on to this next look.
Okay.
Which I think you're going to have a lot to say about. It's Parker Posey in this very like Gone with the Wind opera glove look.
You know, I honestly don't. I'll tell you what I don't like about it. I don't like the color. The color is like, to me,
like
not a good color. I love mustard. I just don't love that color. It's like ambery mustard.
Yeah.
You know, it doesn't work for me. And I love her. And did she win anything? I didn't.
She was nominated for the White Lotus.
Right. And she didn't win, but she should have, because she's amazing. And I kind of know her, and she's crazy.
Well, the thing with her is that she is so kooky. I've interviewed her before.
So kooky, right.
Kooky in this very like erudite kind of way. So I like that her fashion is often a little off kilter.
Me too. And I don't mind the dress. I just don't love the color. I don't think the color speaks. It's not golden or something. It's like, it's more kind of, I don't know what, like amber. I'm not a fan of amber.
All right. Well, notice everyone, no amber. Amber is out for 2026.
It's such a dour, sad color. You know what I mean? For such a non-dour and hilarious person.
Yeah, she's so effervescent. She should be like in a rainbow with like bubbles around her or something.
That's me. I'm sorry, I don't like the dress.
What about this one from Ariana Grande?
Ariana Grande, darling.
I think that's really chic.
She can do no wrong. What is that, Vivienne Westwood or something?
It certainly appears like that
good.
way, yeah.
I mean, it's very, very good. What a wonderful dress. On such a chic-looking person, you know?
Like on such a small person, like do they shop for her at like the American Girl doll store? Like,
well, I'm sure they made this dress for Ariana Grande. I have to say, I love her beauty here. I love that her hair is not all tightly bound up, which is what she's been doing, and I feel like that makes her look a little older.
She's back to her brunette too.
Yeah, here she looks a little bit more brunette, which I think looks great, and like her hair is a little bit softer, which I think like it behooves. It makes her. To me, she just looks better this way. You know.
Yeah. For a while, she was dressing in theme to Wicked, so she was dressed as Glinda basically in every red carpet. And I like now that like we're finally seeing Ariana again, not the character.
And the dress just looks expensive and rich without looking kind of draggy, which is what's going. I mean, there's so much drag going on, which I love, but I'm ready to move on just in terms of like my attention span. I bore extremely easily. So for me, this looks really fresh.
Great. And then lastly, I'm going to ask you about the boys.
Okay.
Specifically, the hottest boys right now.
Right.
The heated rivalry boys.
Yeah. Are you allowed to say anything about them that isn't, oh my God, they're so hot or something?
I mean, you would be canceled by the entire internet if you did. But by all means, go ahead and try.
So is that Connor and that's Hudson?
Connor, that's Hudson.
Okay, I can never tell them apart. All those gays look alike. Oh, kidding. Just a joke. A little joke about the gays.
I mean, when they have clothes on, they might as well.
Right, you may as well just, exactly. No, I have to say, I mean, it's really not a whole lot going on. I like this idea of a white
Hudson is trying harder than Connor, I
Hudson
think.
is trying harder, and I like it. And you have to be really thin to wear a white cummerbund, don't you? I mean, like, you wear that if you have any kind of...
We know that he has the body.
The body, exactly. Yes. We've all been there. We've all seen it. I like it. I mean, they're I love that they just were, like, asleep 6 months ago, and now they are literally, like... completely catapulted to such huge stardom.
Like, not only presented last night, but they were given a bit, which, you know, like, that's a big deal.
I saw that clip. I saw that clip.
When you're given a bit at the Golden Globes, like, that means you're there. You've made it.
You're there. And by the way, what I loved about it was they were working. They were, like, selling the bit. You know, it was like they were acting in the bit. They memorized or something.
Well, they seem like two guys who know that it's so rare to get this platform and opportunity. And they're like,
so they really
we are going to try really hard to make this work for us.
Exactly. Yes.
And what I think they're also a great example in those two photos of the two different kinds of men in fashion right now, where I feel like for so long on the red carpets, guys just wore black tuxedos.
Yeah, which I adore, I gotta tell you.
And it was just
I love a tuxedo.
Just like which of these very handsome men looked the most handsome in a black tuxedo. And now something like Hudson and people like Jonathan Bailey and Coleman Domingo, they are really doing
what Coleman Domingo wore.
Flamboyant, so good fashion. They're having fun on the red carpet.
That was good. That Coleman Domingo thing was really good. Yeah, I loved it. Yeah, I loved it. And I used to love like this crazy flamboyant thing that men were doing. And I loved it. And now I've moved on. I would prefer to see like just suits.
Yeah.
Even on myself, you know, I posted this thing of me on my Instagram singing this song, and I'm wearing this like glittery thing with a white collar. And I'm going, well, here's the thing I'm bored with about this is the glittery thing. I just wish I was wearing a suit again, you know? And I was talking to my husband, who was like, yeah, maybe go. And I was like, wow, I thought you were going to say like, oh, no, it's great. You know, I like to be supported. But he was like, yeah, maybe so. Maybe think about just going back to a suit.
I love that for you, a bold fashion choice is just a plain suit.
No, seriously, for me, if you get a good suit, darling, nearly impossible these days to get a good suit.
Have you been to the Globes before? I assume you must have.
Yes.
What do you like? Do you have any?
It's more fun than the Oscars because you get there's a bar outside, and everybody goes to the bar when like literally, you know, they take a sort of an establishing shot of the room, and they take a few establishing shots of like all the tables, and then the people that are bored go to the bar and wait for their award and come back, you know, and you have like seat fillers, a lot of seat filling going on at the Globes. And it's fun because you have a lot of people milling around in the bar. I don't know if it's still that way, but when I used to go in the early 2000s, you know, like that's what it was like. And people get shit-faced at the Globes, you know.
Who do you remember that being like, that person probably needs some coffee?
I don't remember me, besides me. But I remember it was much easier to meet people at the Globes, you know, because of this communal thing. I don't know. It was, and also the tables. It's like you're at an event, so you can table hop a little bit. Whereas at the Oscars, everybody is like seated, you know, and it's also the Oscars is a little bit more. As someone who used to do the red carpet, it's a little bit more sort of like you know, regimented. Like you stay here behind this stanchion, and we will bring Nicole Kidman to you. You know, whereas like the Globes, you get like these platforms, and people come up and down the platforms, and you can move around a little bit. Yeah.
No, I remember I've gone to, not the Globes, but the Critics' Choice Awards a few times.
Oh, okay.
And they have a bottle of champagne, a bottle of tequila on the
Critics'
table.
Choice, I mean, that's like going to someone's barbecue,
I know.
okay, like compared to the Oscars.
But the vibe is set by the most famous person at the table.
Right.
And once I got to sit next to Julia Roberts, I was so excited.
Right.
Because she did not pour...
Julia Roberts is so much fun. She's a fun
very friendly.
person.
She was the person who made over the chat with me. I didn't have to like fangirl to her.
Yeah. Well, once I did like Oscar sort of, recap with Oprah. On her show about like who looked great, and Julia was on the show. She was this guest before me because I guess she won or something.
Aaron Brockovich that year,
maybe.
Yeah.
But anyway, so I'm going on and on and on and on about this one and that one. Who looked great to me? And she's sitting there and she goes, "Excuse me, I'm sitting right here." And I was like, "Oh, of course." And Julia Roberts looked really good. It was like a moment,
I love. Last night she got a standing ovation when she presented, and
she's just a legend.
It started with like a few people, and then more started getting up, and finally she was like, everyone get up. And then she said, "This is going to make me insufferable for at least a week." She just has a really good
for 1 week
personality.
She just has such a funny. I like her. All the times I've ever come in contact with Julia Roberts, she's been. Speaking of menschy, she's just menschy.
Yeah, and she was so friendly, but she did not pour herself a drink, which meant that no one at my table. Because she was
she's
the leader.
Not drinking. Yeah.
She's not. So we sat there for a 3-hour show just drinking water.
Well, I was at a table at the New York Circle Theater, blah 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 blah, theater critics, some critic show where Josh and Ron won, and it was a bunch of people. It was Rose Byrne, who is, by the way, okay, I'm going on record. Rose Byrne is so gorgeous, and she doesn't work the gorgeous thing. She really doesn't. I mean, if you watch the movies that she's in or the series that she's in, no, she is like, am I wrong? Just what about the hair on that woman? She has this insanely beautiful hair and this like little rosebud of a face, okay? And you don't think of her, right? You think of...
She always has this sort of like... Oh, me? Like, I just happen to be the most brilliant, most versatile actress in Hollywood.
And the nicest person, and she's got that husband, okay? If I had that husband, I might also be very relaxed and
Bobby
very
Cannavale,
happy.
yes.
Bobby Cannavale. I mean, if I had that to go home to every night, darling, it would be...
The best, I think, honestly, the funniest part of the Globes last night was when Rose Byrne said that Bobby wasn't there because he was at a reptile expo in New Jersey to buy a bearded dragon for them.
How divine. I just love them. And they live very close to me. And it's not sort of out of the ordinary to see Bobby and Rose loading up the car. Like they will be loading up the car on 12th Street and 6th Ave. I promise you. It's hilarious. It's like, oh wait, shouldn't you have assistants to be loading up your car?
Literally
but
stars
they
are just
loading
like
up their car. They're not married, by the way. They're living
just
in sin.
yeah.
Exactly.
living
in sin.
When I knew that you were coming on this podcast, I guess like my algorithm, my newsfeed, whatever, the spying thing that your phone does to serve up content about
that you don't
everything you're thinking about and talking about. On my newsfeed this week, I got this video. It must have been from the 90s, from one of your fashion shows.
Right.
Where Linda Evangelista is complaining that you put her in flats where Naomi Campbell always gets heels. And I just thought, like, this is the most fabulous rant I've ever heard in my entire life about you and Linda's flats and Naomi's heels.
Right. And
like,
then Naomi says, "Speak up, lovey. Just speak up, right? You have to speak up." And it's but that's what happens. Like there are certain people that I always liked Linda in flats because, I don't know why. I also liked Veronica Webb in flats, and she used to have this hilarious thing. She would say to me, "Darling, I refuse to struggle behind in flats while you have, Karen Mulder in heels in front of me, right? And Christy in heels. I will not be struggling behind in flats." And so we say that to each other all the time, me and Veronica. "Oh, no, honey, I am so not going to be struggling behind in flats." It's become like this hilarious thing, like a handicap that others don't see as a handicap necessarily. Yeah.
Well, I know, like, from today's perspective, we look at a video like that and we just think, this is that time personified. Like, these are the biggest supermodels at a time when supermodels were the biggest deal in the world.
And by the way, can I address heels versus flats for a minute? For the viewing audience, for the listening audience?
Of the time, yes.
No, because here's the thing. It's like, especially since RuPaul Drag Race has literally taken over everyone's world, including mine, right? But the drag queens do not like a patty melt, as they refer to them, or a flat. They don't like a flat, right? So you get criticized if you go on that show in flats. Like, you can't go on that show in flats. And somehow that has gotten through to the styling community and the community in Hollywood, where flats are just not okay, right? Like, or, you know, the whole sort of Carrie Bradshaw, Sarah Jessica Parker sort of high heel, where she's literally running down the street in high heels, right? And so you now, in this day, you cannot wear flats. But I am here to liberate the flat wearers in the world, because I think the right flat is so chic. I mean, look at Garbo. Look at anybody wearing a flat, you know? First of all, I used to say, well, you know, if she's wearing those heels, she looks amazing, but she's trapped. If someone's running after her, she can't escape, you know? So maybe in this particular passage, let's use the flat. Anyway, flats are back. Flats are back.
Flats are back. Free the flat.
Exactly.
#free the flat. We're gonna make that go trending.
Exactly.
But I am curious because we now look back at that time so nostalgically, and how huge those women were, how huge that time was. During that moment, did it feel that big, that hot, that sexy, the way that we think about it now?
You know, it did. It really. I mean that because there was something extremely, I don't know, like real about that moment. It didn't feel like, you know, when I had fashion shows, if Robert De Niro showed up or something, or Madonna, for instance, like, people would just come to your show, right? You didn't invite them. They just showed up. And they sometimes, like, you know, Prince came once, and you find Prince a fucking seat in the first row. You just do.
Otherwise, you won't be able to see.
And by the way, it's, well, that. But you know what? But by the way, and so when it was no biggie, you know, it's like I had a people for that. You know what I mean? And it was very, very chic. And I don't know if you've ever seen Unzipped. If you haven't, you should. If you should try, anyway. Unzipped is a movie that was made about me in 1995.
Yes.
And that's what the clip, you saw the clip, is that's from Unzipped. Yeah. But the point is that, like, you know, you see all these people in the front row of the show, right? And now I guess you see a lot of people in the front row, and it's kind of arranged through publicists, and you have, you know, security, and you have, you know, but in the old days, it was very chic to all of a sudden see a security guard on like a thing, and suddenly all of a sudden, you know, Liza pops up, right? And she's, oh, Liza, of course, go sit down. We're going to start the show. You know what I mean? As opposed to now it's also prearranged, and it doesn't really feel as, so if you're living through that, what we lived through in the 90s, and you can talk to Marc Jacobson, you can talk to Tom Ford, you can talk to any of them. Like, when we lived through that, it was a very, very fun thing. It was and we felt fun. We felt like it was fun. We also felt like,
I want to hear that. Yeah.
Let me tell you, we also felt like our lives were in danger constantly, and we were on the precipice of falling into some horrifying abyss and never coming out. You know what I'm talking about, right? Like, we live with such stress every day, but at least we knew there was something really excellent happening. You know, as opposed to a lot of arranging and a lot of money changing hands, which is, I guess, what happens today. I can't imagine how much money it costs to put those shows on. The productions are unbelievable, you know, and they're gorgeous, and they look better than any Broadway show or any like opera that you've been to. It's shocking. And the lighting and the number of models, you know, like in the old days, if you had Naomi and Linda and, you know, Karen and all these people, Christy, they were changing clothes like crazy backstage. They wore like 5 or 6 outfits each, you know. Everybody wore at least 3 outfits. And if you were Christy or you were, you know, I don't know who, like anybody else, you got 7 because we love them.
They were the big ones.
Yeah, they were the right one. You just wanted to see that woman in that dress. Yeah.
Now it's just waiting for Kendall to walk down in her.
Right, and you just get one passage, and you look amazing, and you have hours to get dressed. Honey, in those days, it was a crazy world, you know? Yeah.
Well, Isaac, to be front row to talk to you right now. Oh, so much fun.
So much fun.
Thank you so much for doing this.
Pleased, really pleased.
Well, that was so much fun. Thank you to Isaac Mizrahi for being our guest today. Don't forget to subscribe to us on YouTube at The Obsessed Channel. Listen to us wherever you get your podcasts. And while you're at it, subscribe to my Substack at obsessed.substack.com for more brilliant, slightly deranged musings about all the pop culture that you love. And please comment. Did you love Isaac Mizrahi? Who did you think was best and worst dressed? Most importantly, who has the best ass in Hollywood? Leave a comment, rate us. We love hearing from you. And as promised, we have our favorite comment from last week's episode where we interviewed the director of the documentary, I'm Chevy Chase and You're Not. So at Grow Allerable had to say, people have swung so far from he's a great artist so he can do whatever he wants to he's not perfect so I hate everything he ever did. Food for thought. Thanks again for listening. The producers of this podcast were Devin Rogerino, Ryan Murray, and Rachel Passer. Thanks again, and see you next time.